Do you know how many Indian students are studying in France right now? 12,000, and that number just grew by 17% in one single year. This is because of a very deliberate push from the French government, from French universities, and increasingly from Indian students who are realizing that France offers something that most other countries don't. So what is it that they know that you don't? So in this video, I am going to break down everything you need to know about studying in France, from education and top universities to costs, scholarships, jobs, and what life actually looks like when you get there. Hi, my name is Hari, and at Admit Abroad, we have helped hundreds of students get into the dream universities across the world. So if you are planning to study abroad, subscribe because it will genuinely help you make better decisions. So let me explain why France deserves serious consideration. When Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited France, both governments adopted the India-France Innovation Roadmap 2030. French President Emmanuel Macron reaffirmed their goal to welcome 30,000 Indian students by 2030. This is a government-level commitment and it translates into real things. More English taught programs, more scholarships, and a post-study work visa pathway that's been extended specifically for Indian graduates. France is also a part of the EU, which means that once you're established here, the door to the rest of the European job market opens automatically. Let's now understand the education system in France. The French education system follows a structure that will feel familiar to most international students. Bachelor's degrees are typically for 3 years and master's degrees are between 1 to 2 years. The French education system for bachelor's and master's degrees uses a strict 0 to 20 point scale, where 10 out of 20 is the minimum passing grade. Scores of 18 or higher are virtually never given and a grade of 14 or 16 is considered high or excellent. France has two distinct types of institutions. The first is the public universities, places like Sorbonne, Paris-Saclay, and Sciences Po. Their tuition is low, but the competition for admission is real and the academic environment is rigorous. The second is the Grandes Écoles. Think of them like the IITs and IIMs of India or the Ivy League in the USA. These are highly selective, specialized institutions that train France's top business leaders, engineers, and government officials. Schools like HEC Paris, INSEAD, ESCP, ISE Superior, and École Polytechnique fall into this category. Getting into a Grand École is genuinely competitive, but graduating from one will open doors in both France as well as the rest of the world. One thing though, most master's programs are now available in English, but at the undergrad level, the options are more limited. Good programs do exist in engineering, business, economics, and sciences, but outside these fields, you will be likely studying in French. So if you're planning for an undergraduate degree, factor in language preparation seriously. Now, France has genuine strengths across multiple fields. Business and management is the most popular choice for Indian students in France, and for good reason. France is home to some of the world's top-class business schools like HEC Paris, INSEAD, ESCP, ESSEC, and more. These rank consistently in the top 30 for MBA and in the top 10 for MIM programs. If you want a career in consulting or finance, France is genuinely one of the better options out there. Engineering and technology is where the French public universities shine the most. Institut Polytechnique de Paris and Paris-Saclay produce engineers that the country's aerospace, nuclear, and tech sectors actively recruit from. France is home to companies like Airbus, Safran, and Dassault that hire directly from French engineering programs. If you are targeting core engineering, aeronautical, or deep tech, France belongs on your list. AI and computer science is a growing area too. The French government has made significant investments in AI infrastructure, and Paris Station F ecosystem is one of Europe's largest startup hubs. Universities like Paris-Saclay and Sorbonne have strong AI and data science programs that align directly with this. Sciences Po in Paris is the go-to for international relations, political science, and public affairs. Sure, luxury brand management is a niche, but it's a highly strategic choice in France. France essentially created this industry. Louis Vuitton, L'Oreal, Kering, and Hermes all are headquartered here. If this is a career you want, France is the only place where all the education, the network, and the industry exist in one single place. Acceptance rate for international students can range anywhere between 10% to 30% depending on the program. So your academic profile and application documents need to be genuinely strong. Applying to France is more manageable than most people assume, but it has its own distinct process that you need to understand. For most Indian students, the entry point is the Campus France procedure. This is France's centralized admission system, and for Indian students, it is mandatory before you can apply for a student visa. You create a profile, select your programs, and go through a validation interview with the Campus France office in India. Think of it as India's version of the UCAS or the Common App, but specifically for French universities. For both undergrad as well as master's programs, you apply directly to universities through Campus France, submitting your academic transcripts, your statement of purpose, your letters of recommendation, your CV, and proof of English proficiency with IELTS TOEFL scores or proof of French proficiency using DELF scores depending on your program language. GRE and GMAT are typically not required for public universities in France, but some Grand Écoles and MBA programs do ask for it. Check for them individually. France has two main intakes. The primary intake is in September. This is when the majority of the programs start and when the seats are most available. A January intake exists for some programs, but it is far more limited. Let's now talk about the cost of education in France because this is where France generally surpasses people. At public universities, tuition for non-EU students is roughly rupees 3.2 lakhs per year for a bachelor's and roughly rupees 4.3 lakhs per year for a master's. Private institutions and Grandes Écoles charge significantly more, between rupees 6.6 lakhs and rupees 19.8 lakhs per year depending on the institution and program. MBA programs at top B schools go even higher, but even at the top end of private education in France, you're still paying less than a mid-tier university in the US. Living expenses run between 600 to 800 euros per month in most cities. Paris is generally more expensive, so budget closer to 1200 euros to 1400 euros. Cities like Lyon, Toulouse, Bordeaux, Grenoble, and Montpellier are noticeably more affordable and still gives you access to excellent universities and industry connections. To offset costs, you're legally allowed to work up to 20 hours per week during the academic year. The minimum wage in France is 9 euros per hour after deductions. Working 20 hours per week gets you 730 to 800 euros per month, which is enough to cover a significant portion of your living expenses in most cities except Paris. Now let's talk about scholarships because France has two that Indian students should genuinely know about. The Eiffel Excellence Scholarship provides 1200 euros at the master's level. It's highly competitive and merit-based, but it's also one of the most generous government scholarships that Indian students can get in Europe. The Charpak Scholarship, run specifically by the French Embassy in India, provides a monthly allowance of 860 euros. It's exclusively designed for Indian students and covers both undergraduate as well as master's programs in both public as well as private institutions in France. Let's now understand the French job market. The average gross starting salary for graduates in France is approximately rupees 43 lakhs per year. In tech, engineering and finance, this number goes even higher. Paris, Lyon and Bordeaux have the strongest job markets, particularly for roles in consulting, tech, aerospace and finance. Campus placements in France work differently from India. There's no single placement season when companies come to campus. You need to actively network, apply directly, attend industry events and build relationships throughout your degree, not just in your final semester. The French professional culture values personal relationships and face-to-face interaction, so starting early makes a real difference. Now here's the honest part about jobs in France, and it's the same thing that we say consistently across our channel. French language proficiency matters because only 39% of the French population speaks English. For most roles, professional level French, at least till the B2 level, is expected. The wider your French gets, the wider your job options become. This is not optional if you're planning to build a long-term career in France. The industries where the demand is the strongest right now are technology, AI, aerospace, defense, engineering, consulting, finance, and life sciences because France is home to Airbus, Total Energies, L'Oreal, Louis Vuitton, and Capgemini. After you graduate, you can apply directly for the APS visa, which is the post-study work permit for France. For most international graduates, this is generally valid for 12 months. But for Indian master's graduates specifically, under the India-France bilateral agreement, you get 12 months extra, so bumping into a total of up to 24 months to find employment or start a business in France. And this is a significant advantage. During your APS, you can work freely. Your employer doesn't need a separate work permit for you. Once you secure a job, you can convert your status to a work resident permit. For PR, France requires 5 continuous years of legal residence and your student years count towards it too. So if you do a 2 years master's, take your 2-year APS and move to a work visa, you are eligible for PR in realistically 3 years after graduation. The full journey from a student visa to a 10-year residency card realistically takes about 6 to 7 years for a focused graduate who secures stable employment. French people are not unfriendly, but they are private. Making friends might take a bit longer than what it would take in the UK or Ireland. The effort of learning even the basic French goes a long way here. Even a few phrases while ordering at a cafe, greeting your professor, or while talking to your landlord signals that you're making an effort, and that changes how people respond to you. France is genuinely one of the greatest places in the world to eat. Even on a student budget, the quality of produce, bread, cheese, and prepared food is remarkable. Indian restaurants and grocery stores are well established in Paris and in most cities, so you won't struggle to find familiar food when you need it. But the local cuisine is worth engaging with properly as it's a part of the experience. So that's it. That's the full picture of studying, working and living in France. If you have questions about studying in France or about the study abroad process in general, do drop a comment below. We read every single one of them. And if you want personalized guidance on whether France is the right fit for your profile and goals, the links are in the description. So till then, I'll see you in the next one.